can't say enough about the quality of instruction at Newman. I was torn originally between WSU and Newman, and I didn't have any other prior college experience to compare that to. I did decide on Newman ultimately because of scholarship and sort of the class sizes, and I think as soon as I got here I knew it was the right decision. I love the size of the classes. The largest class I've had here I think was 30 people, and so that gave me a chance to get to know my professors to know me. I was more than a number, and so I think that allowed the professors to personally invest in each student, and it was clear that each instructor really cared about each student's success, not just in their class, but broadly at Newman and even in life after Newman. So that I think made a huge difference. And from what I've seen, at least as far as getting into student teaching and being in the workplace, I think Newman has given me a leg up on a lot of other people. Not that I'm any better, but I seem to be more prepared because of the things I've done here at Newman in class, whether that's reading or writing or doing presentations, those kinds of things. It seems like Newman stresses those a lot more. And so as a result, when I go out into the workplace or I go and I'm student teaching right now, any of those environments, it seems to me like the other people aren't quite as prepared, or if nothing else, they're not as comfortable. So I've really appreciated that about Newman. And additionally, they try to go for a well-roundedness. You know, I might be a math major and a secondary ed major, but Newman's also tried to improve my ability to think critically outside of my subject area. Tried to see how they could get me to be a more generically rounded person, better at reading and writing and the things that aren't specific to my major. So, and then that includes even service, you know, not just being smart and not just being advanced in your field, but also being a good person in general. And I think all my professors have strived to help me be that way. So I've appreciated that. And I think we have some really great professors and minds here, and students as well, and sort of that collaboration between student and professor and other faculty members coming in. I think that all works together to create really a great comprehensive educational environment. And I've loved it here. I cannot say enough about Newman. I wish everybody could come to Newman because of the experience I've had. So that's been great. And then specifically when I got into the education program, let's see, I did secondary ed, so I was 3 blocks. So I had 3 semesters, including my student teaching of education classes. And especially this previous semester before student teaching, I took a class with Dr. Dunn on reading skills in all the core content areas. So mine was specifically related to math. And I took Dr. Frazier's field experience class, and I took his specific methods course, and then I took a course with Dr. Sponsel that was math methods for secondary ed. And those 3 courses, I think, prepared me far better than most of what I'd done up to that point. Because prior to that, I was really pretty nervous about student teaching. I thought, okay, I may not be any good at this. Maybe I'm getting myself into the wrong field. Maybe I should just finish that math degree and go that route. But between Dr. Frazier and Dr. Dunn and Dr. Sponsel's attention to detail and constructive criticism, because there was a lot of criticism of you need to improve here, you need to do this, but it was always with my best interest in mind. And it was always, how do we help you become a better teacher so that you can create better students? And so I worked on a lot of things. They encouraged me in my planning, they encouraged me in my grading methods, my ideas about how to run a classroom, things like that. And like I said before, I felt like those things helped me as a Newman student to be better prepared than some of the other student teachers I saw. And actually when I was at East High, all of the math department commented that I was far more prepared and with it than the WSU student that was there with us. And then that might have been a difference of personalities, I don't know, but I felt like Newman had a significant contribution there, and specifically the education faculty we have. I think they're practical. They understand the importance of having ideas to strive for, but they understand also that in the classroom you can't always get everything to work out exactly the way you want. And so recovering from that, you know, how do you change a plan last minute to adapt to a changing environment, whether that's your kids are different than you expected them to be that day, or maybe you're off your game and that lesson just doesn't go the way you want it to. But I think Newman helped me to get ready, and specifically seeing in the methods courses when I had to teach my mini lessons, seeing things not go the way I wanted them to, and all three of those professors were great about, don't get bent out of shape about this, you learn, you reflect, and you move on and you do better the next time. So we celebrated the little progresses and we celebrated the small victories, and oh hey, your planning has increased exponentially from the beginning of the semester till now. And so they, each step of the way, were along with you. And I think in the long run, that really helped me to see the practical side of teaching, not getting caught up in the idealistic, everything's going to go perfectly side, and be more realistic with myself, which I think has helped a lot in student teaching. Overall, I feel very prepared for what I'm going to come against. There have been some obstacles in student teaching, difficulties with, on occasion, classroom management, but overall I felt like I was really well prepared, and it was not nearly the nerve-wracking experience I was expecting it to be, and I chalked most of that up to the quality of instruction I had here from my Newman professors, the encouragement I had. Even after I was out of their classes, they were constantly checking in, saying, hey, how are things going? They'd let me stop in their office and talk for 15, 20 minutes and say, I'm struggling here, or this is getting difficult, how do I handle this? And it was always sort of this warm, comforting encouragement that I needed sometimes, and then other times, a little more stern, and you really need to work on this, get this under control. So there's no doubt in my mind I would not be half the teacher or student teacher that I am if it weren't for our educational faculty.
There are many benefits to come to Newman. Just the opportunity to be in a close-knit community, small classrooms, very individualized classrooms and classes. It's an education that you probably will not receive anywhere else. As far as in my content area, in the history field, I felt that it was very similar. The history department here at Newman is not very big, but it provides a very unique opportunity. You have a lot of the same instructors in the content field, which really, you get to know them very well. You get to utilize that, and you get to learn a little bit about them and how they teach, and it really just advances your learning that much more. So through my 3 blocks here in the education department, or through the program, it's been great. There's a wide variety of different instructors that provide you with different insights. You get to pull knowledge from 5 or 6 or 7 different teachers, but they all have the same ideas, and it's really neat to pull your own perspective into it and get these teachers in multiple classes and be able to work with them. I think it's really good and a good high quality education. It's very interesting. I know in many classes, as far as the education department goes, you get to really analyze how the teachers taught and then look at that and utilize it in your own classroom and in your own lessons. That's something that at other schools you don't have the opportunity to do, and being able to do that here at Newman makes you that much more prepared when going to enter the field of education. The faculty here in the education department is great. It's amazing to be able to go on a daily basis, anytime you need, to stop into the offices. You can't say that in any other program in the country that you can go and knock on the door of the program director, the guy who's in charge, and you can knock on his door and go in and see him, and he knows you and you know him. It's just a very unique situation here at Newman, and I wouldn't want it the other way. I think that you get great preparation for your student internship and being able to student teach. I will be student teaching in the fall, and I think that I feel very confident going in. I feel ready. I think that as far as handling students, you are very well prepared. And as far as making your lessons and the behind the scenes work, you work on that every single day. I'm excited for the opportunity, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. Yeah, Newman is a very unique experience, all around campus. Coming in as an athlete, getting to be an athlete and go to school and get a great education is something that you don't want to pass up on. And when looking at schools and being able to see the strengths that we have here at Newman, to be able to come in and have a close-knit community, personable professors, and then being able to maybe be an athlete or do a lot of extracurricular activities. It's not something that you get anywhere else, not something that you get at a big school. And you know, if you're down to the wire making a decision, Newman is a great place, and we look forward to seeing you.
There are a lot of benefits attending Newman University. First, it's the small classes and the relationship you build with the professors and other faculty members. I remember being a transfer student back in 2013. I went to a community college, and it was really hard for me to adjust easily, but the professors really helped me be closer or be familiar with how it works, because I get to talk to them after school, after class, even without setting an appointment. I could just come into their office and it will be fine. And also the scholarships, because they really helped me a lot, especially my mom is the only one who's providing for us. So. The strengths, I think they really prepared students to be a good educator in the future. They prepared us with classes. The teachers were really helpful if I have a question, because sometimes, since I'm a bilingual, I'm from a different country, I sometimes don't understand a sentence or a phrase, and I tend to ask questions all the time, and they would answer me right away. For example, I would send them an email, and later that afternoon they would email me back that, hey, this is what it means. Or sometimes I could just ask them after class, and that really is great for me, because I'm really comfortable talking to them. Well, like I said last time, I was a transfer student, and I had a hard time adjusting from community college to a four-year university. Writing an essay, I'm an English major, by the way, minor in English, and my content area is English. And I had a hard time writing an essay. I mean, it was fine for me, but then my professor, she really read my 4-page paper and commented and write a lot of comments or feedbacks on it, constructive criticism. I read those, and I really think that they really read my paper, and it made me feel good, because I didn't waste time writing that 4-page paper. And after that, she gave me feedback. She told me that I should go to the writing center to improve it, and instead of feeling bad that, hey, I did bad writing my essay, I felt good that, hey, she really read my paper, now I'm going to go to writing center. And that writing center here at Newman, it really helped me a lot. It's like my second home during my first semester. I go there every day, set an appointment every day, and I think it's kind of annoying to them already, but I loved it. I improved my writing skills, my fluency. Even my professor, Dr. Regan, noticed it. I took her British Literature 1 during my first semester, and then next semester I took her British, not next semester because it's a different professor, but after a year I took her Shakespeare class, and she actually noticed how I improved. And during our finals, when we were sharing our last paper, she got teary-eyed, because she remember how I was back then and then how I improved, and that really touched me, because she really paid attention to each student. So that's how professors are here at Newman. Even though you're struggling, you can make it, you can do it because of their help and guidance. The instructions were really great. I tend to copy some of the techniques that my education teachers do. Sometimes Dr. Biquet, she usually do PowerPoint presentation or online presentation or discussion. I would think about that when I'm writing my lesson plans since I'm student teaching this semester. And it really helped me because, hey, I should do this because they did that and it worked. So every time something worked for me, I try to do it on my own as well because it works, so why not try it too? The modeling of best teacher practices, I really think that teaching should be entertaining and fun. It's not supposed to be boring, it's not just lecturing. And that's how it is here at Newman. It's really interesting. Sometimes, even though I remember Dr. Rogers, she's one of my favorite professors. Back then, I took her children literature class, and I remember doing some fun activity like reading a children's book in front of everyone and counting or think, pair, and share. I really thought back then that it was just for middle school or high school thing, but then I realized, hey, that really engaged us to do something good. And right now, since I'm a student teacher, I do that all the time. Every time a lesson did not work, for example, people didn't like it or the students got bored, I would do the same thing. Like I would change my lesson right away and just do something that is entertaining for the students. Newman University has small classes, and I really think the connection of the teacher and students relationships are really good, or professor-teacher relationship, and also the students, because like I said earlier, every time I'm struggling with something, I would ask my neighbor, I would ask someone right next to me, hey, what do we have to do? What is our assignment again? Because even though I paid attention, it's so different for me because I have to translate everything from English to my language and then think again. And it really helped me because it's a small class. The English majors would have the same class as me next semester, next year, and it's really good to see how we improved, how we grew later, how we improve our writing, our reading skills, and it's just really good because Newman University promotes diversity as well. It's not just only about sports or academics, faith to God as well, and diversity and spirit. I really had a great relationship with my advisors. Dr. Dunn, he was my advisor since I transferred here, and until now I always say hi to him every time I visited the campus. Every time I visit the campus, even though I don't have any appointments with him, I would knock on his door and say hi because I really had a great relationship with him. And also Dr. Fraser, other teachers or professors that I've had before, they're really great, and they're really going to help you when you started your education here because they really want you to be a good educator. Not good, but best educator in the world. Field experiences, at first I was really scared to start doing some kind of observation because I know students are gonna look at me when I enter the classroom because we are the new person in the classroom, but it really practiced us. It's like our practice to be, to enter before we enter the classroom and start having the teaching responsibilities when we do our student internship. I think field experience has helped me a lot because I get to discover new ideas, new techniques that the teacher is doing with her or his students. And I really think that field experience is a great experience because it's a practice for all of us.